Hello, gorgeous. Welcome to HG Radio, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration. Here is your co-founder and host, Kim Becker.
Hello, gorgeous, and thank you for joining us today. I'm your host, Kim Becker, and this is Hello, Gorgeous, everything beauty, cancer, and inspiration on Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. This episode is brought to you by Amplified Marketing Group. They specialize in affordable mobile solutions that will get you noticed and help you retain customers. Check them out at yourphoneguy.com. That's yourphoneguy.com. Joining me for today's episode is Trisha Greenlee, our Director of Operations. Say hi, Trisha.
Hello, everyone, or hello, gorgeous.
So today I thought we get so many questions about the nonprofit organization,
Right.
And how we started the nonprofit organization. And so, I could spend my days taking people to lunch and sharing with them how we transitioned from a profit business to a nonprofit business. But I thought that this would be a great episode and just share some of the steps. And so actually we did help. So you're part of a choir. So that was kind of the other reason that I thought we could do this. So tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with you and Mike going through the steps years ago that you did, as you said, I'm in a choir here in Indiana. It's called the
Ripple Effect.
Thank you. The Ripple Effect. I was thinking the Ripplelicious group, the Facebook group. Anyway, yes, the Ripple Effect Choir. And as they were trying to get their 501c3 status, the director, Sherry, had gotten a hold of us and just said, do you have any tips and hints? And I was like, yes, absolutely. So you and Mike were able to fill out the paperwork, you got it submitted, but then as you worked in the hair salon, one of your clients had told you about getting a hold of your congressperson and letting them know that you can have your 501c3 flagged. And so we were able to encourage Sherry to do just that, to let her congressperson know that she had a pending 501c3. And I actually got a message the other night that they were approved, and it took 9 days. And so she was so grateful for all those little tips and tricks. So I'm really excited to be doing this episode with you today because, as we spoke about earlier this week, how many people are there out there who would love to start a nonprofit or a charity, and they just don't know where to begin? So this is going to be a really easy guide to have you kind of help walk them through some steps that they can take.
Right. And I think there's just like 5 easy tips, excuse me. But, and I think that's it. Many of the women that we serve that go through cancer, a lot of times after they get out of their journey, they complete their journey, so many people help them that they want to give back. And so that was the other reason that I thought for this particular episode is that for those people who, and we've had several guests on our show that actually went through breast cancer, right, or went through a type of cancer, and then they went on to start a nonprofit so that they could help other women as they were helped.
That's right.
And so I thought this would be a great episode just to be able to talk to people and share the different steps and the tricks that we learned along the way that really helped us get that nonprofit status so that it can help them help others and they can serve the community that they want to serve.
Well, and I don't think the listeners know, but when you and Mike went to set out on your journey for Hello Gorgeous, it was not an easy time to get your 501c3 status either, because right, Katrina had hit the time.
Right. And so that's one of the things that I had down on my list of things to talk about was that, we really did, when we went to apply for a nonprofit status, Katrina had just hit. So, this calling was placed in my heart. I knew I wanted to help women battling cancer. I knew I wanted to give them a day of beauty that would make them treat and feel like a queen for a day during a time where they didn't feel very special. And I wanted it to happen right now. And so we had gone through and gotten the paperwork. And as we were talking about this, when we called the IRS, they'd said, well, Katrina just hit. And what that meant was that like everybody and their brother was applying for a nonprofit status,
right,
because they felt that they too wanted to help and serve the people that were affected by Katrina. And so when we started to talk about them, they're like, yeah, it's going to take you 2 years to get your nonprofit status. And we didn't feel that we could help or do anything until we got that.
Right.
And so what I kept saying was, I don't have 2 years. There are women that needed this service yesterday. Like they need to have this service right now. And so I was very passionate about it. So we had to come up with ways to kind of help. And so those are the tips and the tricks that I want to be able to share with you today, because of it wasn't easy for us. Now, because we went through some of these, we actually got our nonprofit status in 6 months, right, instead of 2 years, right, which we were grateful for that. But so one of the first things that I want to tell you is, so my background is that I owned a salon in the profit world, and then sold that salon to be able to start the nonprofit. And so one of the things that I had to get my head around is that nonprofit doesn't mean no money.
That's right.
That's
right.
not what that means. Nonprofit does not mean no money. Nonprofit just means that you are at a standing with the federal government, that you don't pay taxes, and there are some tax benefits that you have because you don't profit from your business, in that any money that you make from the nonprofit, you just put back into the nonprofit.
Yes.
It just means that you don't have shareholders, and you're not a publicly held company where you're paying stockholders for this. All the money. So it doesn't mean that you can't make money.
Correct.
You can make money. You just take all of that money and you just keep putting it back into the business so that you can help the community that you want to serve. And so that was a big thing for me, because I read an article once years ago that said, instead of calling a nonprofit business nonprofit, you should call it for purpose.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be amazing?
Yes. And I think it would change your mindset if that's what it was called, was for a purpose.
For certain.
Right. So that's the first thing out of the gate, is nonprofit does not mean no money. And so, we were kind of in this realm where we didn't know what we were doing. Again, we had a profit business. So we needed to find somebody that knew. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So we needed to find somebody. And actually, I had suggested that to Sherry too. So we have something, part of our small business administration here in South Bend. It's called SCORE. And I don't know what the letters actually stand for, but it's basically retired businessmen and women that want to help you with your business. And so we did a lot of it through the library. We had actually found a business plan writing program that we were able to rent from the library, so it didn't cost us anything. SCORE was another resource that didn't cost us anything. And we were actually able to sit down in an office with a gentleman who helped us jump through the hoops that we needed to jump through. So at the same time that we were writing our business plan, we were actually writing all of the things for the 501c3 application. Then we were able to take that application back into the man at SCORE, the man we worked with, and we were able to say to him, okay, what does this need? What are we lacking? What have we not included that the IRS is going to be looking for? And so we had somebody to kind of walk that path with us as we walked through that journey. And then when we got a message back from the IRS that they had questions, we were nervous because we were like, oh, we didn't fill the application out right. And what that gentleman at SCORE was able to tell us was, no, that's good. It's good that they want questions. It's good that they want more information. So we were able to fill out that form with their additional questions that they had. And then, as I said, 6 months later, we got our nonprofit status. But the other thing was too, and so the second point was work with your local congressman.
Yes.
So, and obviously that just helped just recently with Trisha's friend, Sherry.
Absolutely.
And so we did, as I was talking with a lot of my clients, and I would say to them that we had this, and I can't remember which client it was now, but it was a client of mine that said, look, your congressperson that's in office is there to work for you. Yeah. And so you need to contact their office and let them know that you have a pending 501c3. And then they can flag that to let them know that one of their constituents has a pending 501c3. So we had a liaison. We had a liaison between the state house and our congressman that kept in constant communication with us, that let us know, yep, they're looking into it. Yep, this is where it's at. And actually, I remember them letting us know in October that we had been approved, but I wouldn't believe him. I didn't believe him until I actually had that paper in my hand.
I wouldn't have either.
I didn't believe him. And so, and then he told us that it had gone through, but it wasn't until February of that following year that we actually got the paperwork. So that's when we celebrate the anniversary of the nonprofit organization.
That's right.
Is in February of that following year. But I can't tell you, I really think that had a lot to do with it.
I would agree.
Yeah, that we were able to talk to the congressman. And even though I didn't talk to him directly, I talked to his office.
Right.
But that's his job. And, he's not in office anymore, and I'm still talking about him.
Yeah.
So he did his job. And so you think about those Congress people, they want to look good, especially if they're wanting to get reelected. Yeah. So use that congressperson that's in your community. So is that what Sherry did too? Do you know if she contacted the congressperson?
From my understanding, yes. When we sent her, when she got a hold of us and we sent the response back, we just kind of went through each item to do. So I believe so.
Awesome.
I can get back with you on that.
Well, I'm just going to say that anybody that wants to apply for nonprofit status, that's certainly one of the things that you need to do is to contact your congressperson.
I don't think that can hurt at all.
No.
It can only help.
That's
Worst
right.
case scenario, it doesn't go any farther, but I would say yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that it does help. The next thing that really helped us was something that I learned years ago from Anthony Robbins, and I use it on every aspect of my business, and that is modeling. You know, there are people out there that are doing what you already want to do. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Amen, sister.
All you need to do is find those people and talk to them, find out what steps that they actually took to get to where they are, and then follow those steps yourself. And you can, it's amazing what you can do, that you can actually you can make things happen.
That's right.
And it doesn't take as long because they've already done it.
Right.
And I will tell you, any person that's a successful business person, they want to share their level of success with you. They want to tell you how to get, because that, bolsters them up. They want you to know how the steps that they took. They want to share that. And, my philosophy is that the only way that I can be successful is to help others achieve success.
Right.
So I have people coming to me all the time asking me, how did you sell your salon? How did you start your salon? How did you start the nonprofit? How do you do what you do? And I'm happy to be able to share that with anybody that asks. But we had someone that was very near and dear to our heart, and it was amazing that we reached out, and it really is who you know, not what you know.
Right.
But one of my clients was connected to a gentleman by the name of Millard Fuller, and Millard Fuller was the gentleman that started Habitat for Humanity.
Yes.
And in the end of his life, he actually did not work for Habitat anymore and started an organization called the Fuller Center for Housing. But I was able to talk to him. It's one thing to start a business.
Right.
It's another thing to start a nonprofit. But to start a nonprofit that you want to take nationwide, it's something else. And so I had never done that before. Talk about trailblazing in an area that you have I had no idea what I was doing. So I truly needed to find somebody that could give me the hints and tips that I could take back and that I would be able to use to start this nonprofit, but also to scale it.
Right.
I wanted to make it that it was something that would be much bigger than just me helping one woman at a time because of the amount of women that are diagnosed with cancer. So we had a 45-minute phone conversation with Millard Fuller. I'll never forget, we were sitting in a Target parking lot, and our phone rang, and it was Millard Fuller, and he was just an absolutely salt of the earth man that answered every question that I had. And I was able to ask him the questions, how do you get started, and what do you do? And I laid out my full big dream, and I'll never forget this. I laid out my full dream that I wanted this big vehicle that, was a $250,000 palace on wheel that would make these women feel like a queen for a day. And I told him exactly what I wanted to do. And I remember asking him a very pointed question. After laying out this big dream to him, it was, well, how many women do you think, or how much money do you think I need to have in the bank? What is it? Should I have 50% of it saved? Should I have it all saved before I get started? And I'll never forget his response to me was, Kim, in his Southern accent, he said, you'd be really silly to start without $1. So you don't need to have all of this money in the bank before you start a nonprofit. You just need to start. And what he said to me was, you know what? These women don't care if they're being taken care of over a garbage can in an alley. They just want to be taken care of. They just need to feel the specialness that you're going to offer to them to empower them to get through this journey. You just need to begin. And we did. After that phone call, that's exactly what we did. We didn't have the mobile day spa, but we started them on Fridays.
That's right.
In the salon.
In the salon.
And we would have the women come to where we were working, and all of our coworkers knew that it was a Hello Gorgeous Day. And,
Yes.
we just did it in the midst of the business, but little did we know that would lend to the salon affiliate program.
Yes.
So we did get a mobile day spa. We actually had 2 mobile day spas at one time.
Yep.
And we did the visits in the mobile day spa, but then we knew that we couldn't get to all the women that we needed to get to. And so we started the salon affiliate program. And so because we did visits in the salon for 2 or 3 years, and we did what he suggested, which you just start.
Yes.
And so because we just started, we were then able to transition that to create a program that salons then could help women in their community doing these visits on women battling cancer in their own hometowns.
That's right.
And so I don't believe that had I not had that conversation with him, had I not reached out to him to find out what he did in order to be able to make his business successful and to follow those steps, I don't know that we would have had the salon affiliate program. I don't know that we would have been able to affect the amount of women that we've been able to affect.
I agree.
And so
I totally agree.
we have how many affiliates in how many states?
Oh gosh, we have over 36 affiliates currently to date in about 15 states, and we have, I think, 3 salons now who are ready to be